Hey guys, what's going on? This is Luke Ocean. Pumped to be back for another week of not of quarantine. Not excited about that so much as I am excited about these conversations that we've been having during home isolation, during quarantine, during the stay-at-home orders. This coronavirus moment has created just an interesting time for all of us in our work lives, including the guy that's sitting beside me. His name's Michael, and he is an incredible leader. He's the founder of a company called Cartology. We're going to talk a little bit about what that means. But the reason we have been doing these chats is because we said there's got to be some folks out there that are experts, that are handling this with expertise, with excellence, with care. They have stuff that's really simple, practical things that people could and should be learning. And we said it's so easy for us now, thanks to technology, thanks to this modern moment that we all live in, to bring people together around some of these practical tips. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going live at 3 p.m. for one of these conversations. They're about 15 minutes. We're bringing in leaders. We've had 4 or 5 of these already, and it's just been a ton of fun. And I know today is going to be a fun because we have the meme master, the chief GIF officer, the emoji maven himself, Michael Maher, founder of Cartology. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Those are quite some awesome superlatives. I'd like to get a plaque or something printed up if that's possible.
I think you should.
At the cost of Ocean. If Ocean can pay for that, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll jump right on that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, man, thanks for being with us. Tell us, Cartology, cool name, sounds awesome. Is it awesome? And what kind of awesome things does the company do?
So, in all honesty, it is awesome. A totally objective opinion. And Cartology is a service agency that helps brands grow on Amazon. It originally started as me back in 2010. So now a little over a decade ago, creating an e-commerce company. That went well for many years, about 6 years. And there was a big transition, a big change up. And during that time period, it was God's way of saying, hey, you need to pay attention to me. You need to let me make decisions in your life, and you need to be more of a follower. But out of that was my service agency that was born. So thankful for that big change up. It was a very tumultuous time. But the best thing that happened to me, professionally, for sure. So, but yeah, we just really help brands of all different kinds utilize Amazon and utilize it as a channel to grow revenue and brand awareness. A lot of that stuff that you're purchasing on Amazon, it's coming from third parties. It's not coming from Amazon making or creating it. So the majority of that market is from brands, vendors. It could be small brands like a mom and pop shop around the corner, or it could be big brands like Crest or Kellogg's, whatever.
Yeah, so you're helping people get noticed in this huge marketplace of ideas and products. You're helping them rise to the top, get noticed, and generate kind of meaningful revenue, right?
Generate meaningful revenue. Look at what it means to be profitable on Amazon. A lot of people, when you think about Amazon, you think big sales, making money, and that's true, but it does cost money to do that. And so we're actually creating strategies individually for businesses to look at what makes sense for the resources that you have. And then also, how do we get this to a place of profitability so that it is sustainable? Because our mission is to serve at Cartology. That is our only mission statement, just to serve brands by helping them grow on Amazon. We serve our community by being involved. That's part of me being involved with Ocean. I'm being connected to that. But yeah, we help people understand what profitability looks like, find that, and then create those, continue to build into those long-term relationships. We want to be working with people for years to come, not just a 6-month period.
That's awesome, man. I love that mission statement. Hey, guys, if you're watching right now, if you're watching live, the comments are open. We see those. We'd love to answer questions you have. What we're talking about today with Michael, we're going to talk about a bunch of different things, but the reason we're here is to talk about remote work. We're here to talk about kind of his best tips, his best practices, both personal habits, and then also kind of his leadership learnings from this, from being a remote leader and a remote worker, because that's what you do, right? You lead a distributed team all over the country that is doing, or really all over the world, I'm sorry, that is doing this work. So without taking too much time, tell us a little bit about kind of your team, where they're at, and how long you've been doing remote work, just to kind of let people know, hey, this is why they should care what this guy has to say about this.
Sure. So the agency's been remote the whole time. So a little over 3 years. Started as me, freelancer consultant, finding work and realizing that there was just a ton of work to be done. And so I knew that I needed to scale it. the best way and the easiest way for me to do that was to scale it by having workers remotely, kind of tapping into people doing contract freelance work. And so my whole team is contracted, but we're all part of a big team. I think there might be 13. We just hired 2 people. So maybe 12, 13 people in total, including myself. And everyone's spread out throughout the world. We've got someone as far as Saudi Arabia. We've got people as far as the Philippines. We've got people in Mississippi, just kind of all spread out. And it's incredible because we're able to access talent from anywhere. We're not just, there's a lot of great people in Cincinnati, but I'm not confined to that. And we don't have big overheads like a building space or anything like that. And so we're able to put money into resources like subcontracted labor, like what we're paying people. We're able to put it into other resources, giving to places that we believe in, that we're invested in financially, giving to those nonprofits and stuff. So yeah, it's the whole team is remote, and it's been that way the entire time. And it's honestly incredible because I know that people who, especially when I look at people outside of the US, people that are in the Philippines, average day's work for an 8-hour job pays about $7 or $8 a day. So people are making that an hour, which is significantly more than they would be making if they were actually working a job in the Philippines. The Philippines is still a third world countries in a lot of places, but they're very connected to technology. So they're able to utilize the internet to, create livelihood for their families, which is really, really cool. It's cool to see that as a leader, seeing people be empowered by that. The whole team is remote, and we just utilize different tools to help us be connected.
That's great, man.
Stay connected, not that was correct. Yeah. I think, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you can be connected, stay connected, all those things. Well, man, I love your heart as a leader. You've mentioned it a couple of times. You're real involved in Ocean. I know, kind of your faith story is part of your entrepreneurial journey. This faith and entrepreneurship intersection is something that you've been exploring with us for a while, and you've been contributing in different ways to different organizations. I know that you're real passionate about the work of International Justice Mission. I know you support our work here at Ocean. So, man, your heart as a leader is incredible. And I just wanted to publicly acknowledge that and just say thank you for all that you do on those fronts. And even something like this, saying, hey, I'm gonna share some tips and some best practices. It's going to jump in and help people figure out like this new thing. Cause a lot of people have been thrust into this, like working remote. Like, I don't really know what that means. Like, is this good? Is this bad? Should I be happy? Can I really win and succeed working remote? What are the big pitfalls? What am I going to have to what are the watch out for? I was talking to a guy the other day, and he said that like this huge percentage of their organization, they had literally no framework for even what work remote looked like. They didn't even own laptops, right? So they literally the organization had to go take all of their desktop computers, the IT department, like home delivery, home setup of all these offices to get everything working. Cause these people are just like, they're used to showing up to their office or to their cubes and just like going to town, right? So all of a sudden now they're in this radically new environment. How do people how should people begin thinking about this? Maybe let's think about it like this. What's the biggest benefit that you've found of like remote work? Maybe so think less about like just the leadership hat and really just working remote, like the habit of that. What's the biggest win and benefit that you've personally found? And then what do you think one of the biggest hurdles is?
So biggest win is freedom. You now have freedom when you head to a remote schedule, unless you have someone that says, hey, you're required to work from 9 to 5. The best part about remote work is that you're able to create your own schedule. And at least when it comes to my organization, people don't have to be told when to work unless it's something that they need and they require. So a good example of that would be if I'm interacting with someone on a regular basis, if they're in the Philippines, they're 12, 13 hours ahead of me. We need to have some crossover. So that means typically we connect in my morning, their evening, and then in my evening, their morning. During the day, it might be a little bit quieter because it's the middle of the night for them. But some people aren't required to work during that time period, so they can kind of do their work whenever they want. When it comes to myself and my VP of Business Development, she is a big part of the company, kind of my business partner, helping drive things forward. She and I just communicate with each other, and I'll say, hey, I'm going to be out because I have this appointment or I have this other thing I'm going to do. But we've got the freedom now to go pick up our kids from school, to attend a birthday party celebration, to take a half day for ourselves or whatever. That's the biggest blessing that comes out of that. And I think people are willing often to sacrifice even pay when it comes to that kind of freedom, being able to determine what their schedule looks like. And there's that song, Free Your Mind, and the rest will follow.
That's so unfortunate.
That is the biggest hurdle, because people are not as adaptable as they need to be. When it comes to if you look at a traditional freelancer now, you ask them, hey, are you used to using this software? Are you used to using this software? Are you used to using this software? And they've probably used some variation of it, or they've maybe even used that specific software, but they have to be adaptable and say, oh, you like Trello? Well, I'm used to using Asana, but I can learn Trello. I can get into that. Oh, you like to use OneDrive? I'm used to using Google Drive or G Suite tools, but I can learn that. So you really have to be adaptable. And I'd say the more that you resist the change and the more you fight that off, the harder it's going to be for you. So if you can just lean in and say, I feel like that's what we should do anytime, at least this has been true in my life, but anytime I'm feeling pressed or feeling uncomfortable, I need to learn to get comfortable with that uncomfortable feeling. And so I need to lean into that and allow myself to be changed and to be molded during that time period.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been like on a missions trip, but like rule number one of going on like an international short-term missions trip is be flexible, right? Like whatever we think is going to happen, something different is going to happen at some point or at multiple points. And so like when you're working from home, like whatever you think is going to, like I thought I knew what was going to happen this morning, and then my daughter threw up, right? Yeah. So it's like,
right, okay, that's pretty much it, yeah.
Something like, or you think you know how a call is going to go, and then your internet cuts out, or your dog jumps in your lap, or like I thought I was going to do this outside with you. Literally, I was going to sit outside on my patio, kind of change up the vibe because I've been sitting here all week, right? Yeah. Or every time we're doing this. And both of my neighbors started mowing their grass 20 minutes ago. Yeah. So it's like, okay, like things change. You have to be adaptable. I heard you mention communication like multiple times in what you were just saying. Like, would you almost say that when you're working remote, when you're trying to connect with your team, whether that's a peer or whether from a leader relationship, like over communicate, clarity is king? Like, are those things you would say and talk about?
Absolutely. I think it would be better to over communicate and then find a cadence that is maybe less intrusive to someone if they don't want to communicate like that. But communication has been, for anyone that has worked in our organization, and we've had, people, kind of filter in and out throughout the years. But the people that really succeeded are the ones that learn to communicate and communicate well, and also adapt to the systems that we're using. So not just say, well, I only want to communicate in this tool. If we say, hey, you need to communicate in this tool, they do that and they make it happen. The people that have not worked have been the people who disappear for 24 hours or disappear for 48 hours without notice. If you're going to be gone, that's great. I don't care. I'm not going to bother you. But if you just started a role and I can't get in touch with you for 48 hours and you have a project that's due and I don't really know what your work schedule is going to be like,
that's a bad plan.
That's a bad plan. But I think just in general, you have to be willing to communicate and also adapt to communication styles of the people around you, especially if you're going in new to an organization. What is the communication style of that organization? How do you fit within that? And then start, if you feel like something's not working, then start to try and make changes, but conforming to the system essentially at first, and then making changes from within.
That's good. Hey, just so you guys know, we're going to go for about 6 or 7 more minutes. We typically put these around 15 minutes. We think this one's really fun and important to talk about these remote work ideas. So we're going to run it out to about 20 this time. So if you have questions, if you have thoughts that you want to share, ask away, throw them in the comments. Specifically, if you're like, man, tell me like, how do you manage this? Or how do you structure your day? Or if you have something real specific you want to hear Michael kind of respond to, we'd love to see that or hear that from you guys. So Michael, what's a hurdle? Like what's something that, is it a mental block or is it a habit? Is it a physical thing where you just see like, man, this is when people just don't seem to thrive when they work remote?
I think one of the stumbling blocks for people could be the environment that you're creating. So if you're good at working around distractions, then you're able to work at the dining room table with your spouse and with your kids that are also doing homework there, especially during this time. If you're not good with distractions, you need to set up an environment that limits distractions. if you want, one of the cool flexibilities of working remotely is you can change your environment. So a lot of people talk about, doing calls in their sweatpants and stuff like that. Yeah, that's one way. You have a lot more flexibility with what you wear, because you're not worried so much about what people see you as professionally with what you're wearing. But you've got flexibility to play different music, to take breaks when you want. Sometimes I always stand up when I work, and I'm sitting down right now, but I don't really like sitting down a lot because everything kind of cramps up. But even when I'm standing up, my feet will kind of get tired. So I'll like walk away for a few minutes and sit down, maybe check something on my phone, or just walk away and kind of clear my head away from things, because it allows me to get more focused when I get back into something. So I think your question was one of the hurdles. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you've got flexibility of space. So if you're not creating the right environment, you're not going to perform very well. So just know, hey, these are things that I can and cannot do. I can't really listen to podcasts while I work because my mind wants to focus, and it's very difficult for me to do two things at once. I can listen to music though, and often listen to music.
Yeah, that's right.
That's an incentive for me.
Yeah, I think the lesson there is like, it's almost an awareness piece, right? Of like, am I aware of the environment that I'm creating? Am I aware of like how the different ways the environment are affecting me, right? So yeah, maybe, man, this chair is bothering me, and maybe that's or actually this is a terrible place for me to work because there's papers everywhere and my family's constantly in and out, or the temperature's not right, or I find myself slouching too much on a couch. Why am I working on a couch? I would never work like that at my office. I mean, I do. You can ask the folks at Ocean. I frequently will go find the couch in our office and sit there and find peace and focus. That's kind of where I can do it. Just stretch it out, right? Lean back, get comfortable.
I think you have to be honest with yourself too. You have to say, hey, I'm good at handling distractions, or no, I'm not good at handling distractions. If you're being dishonest with yourself, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually get to a resolution where you're creating the right environment for yourself.
Yeah, that's good. And I think too, like, have you ever had days, Michael? I guess I know you have. We all have these days where you just can't get into the rhythm of like work. Like it just doesn't start. Like you can't say, I feel like I'm at work because I'm used to this routine. I'm used to going to the office. I'm used to driving through and getting my coffee or whatever your thing is. And folks that are just having a hard time of finding that rhythm. This morning I felt like I was kind of in a rut. So I got up this morning and I put on like different kinds of clothes. Like I know I'm not like super dressed up. I'm wearing a t-shirt and a hat. It's kind of how I always wear, but I'm wearing like real shirts.
You put on a fresh shirt. You put on a fresh shirt this morning.
I did. Fresh shirt. I'm wearing like real shorts instead of like sweatpants shorts or workout shorts. I put on a watch. I love to wear watches. I realized I haven't wore a watch in like 20 days because I don't know, like why wear a watch around my house, right? But this morning I like put on my watch and I had to do something to kind of jumpstart the environment, jumpstart my mentality. I put on the Hamilton soundtrack. I kind of got in the vibe a little bit, got going. So like, what have you had those days, and what advice do you give people?
I think when you're out of your routine at work and you go back to home, you default to what your home is like, which may not be a routine. So I think first you have to set and create a routine. Do you have something in place? Are you going and making your coffee? Do you do your devotions? And then do you do something else and keep those routines in place? I would also say when it comes to remote work, and this is going to change based on who your employer is, but what do you need to accomplish that day? If you've got stuff accomplished and you're able to take a break for a little while, maybe walk away and take a break. I'm not the one that always does that because I like work, and so sometimes I'll kind of lean into it. But can you step away for an hour and come back and feel more refreshed? Is there a lot of times people can't disconnect from what they're doing in their house. So like when I'm working and I'm working from home, I'm not emptying the dishwasher. I'm not doing all these other additional things because I'm focusing on work, and I want to make sure that I'm being super productive with that.
That's good. Hey,
what playlist, artist, or genre do you listen to while you work? I'm a big R&B junkie. Love R&B music. There's this artist named Pink Sweats out right now who I love, and he's so good. It's very, very chill. So like you could listen to it at the pool. It's a little melancholy, but I really like that guy right now. I've been listening to him.
Pink Sweats. Is it in the Frank Ocean vein?
It is way better than Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean can't even compare
Whoa.
I can't believe you said his name right now.
That's a hot take. That's wow.
No, I would say it's sort of in that realm, but it's more like traditional classic R&B than what Frank Ocean is doing.
Okay, I love it.
Or Prince. Anything Prince is good.
I know you're a big Prince guy. Hey, as we start to wrap up, let's just like rapid fire some of the best tools for remote work. Okay, so communication, best tool.
Slack, hands
Slack.
down. Best to organize. Great free version. The upgrades I think are totally worth it when you get into it, but super organized way to communicate with people.
Okay, best like file storage, cloud sharing, all that kind of stuff.
I love G Suite because I'm able to host my our emails there and create new users very easily with that, as well as store files, and it integrates well with with email too.
G Suite, also the name of another one of your favorite R&B acts, right?
Yes. G Suite. That's actually an album.
Let's see.
I'm gonna take you to the G Suite. I just forget that. That's not a real song.
It's absurd. Best video conferencing kind of tool. Are you all Zoom?
I use Zoom with people. I use Uber Conference. You can get a free conference line, or you can. I think it's like maybe $100 a year, and you can have your own vanity URL. You could have like uberconference.com/Luke Dooley if you wanted, if it wasn't taken.
Yeah, by you.
Yeah, I actually just took it this morning.
That's right. All right, last one. Everyone misses their like whiteboards, their foam core, their Post-it notes, their sticky boards, their collaborative workspaces with their teams. How do you recreate like a digital collaborative workspace?
So one that actually visually, there's a project management software called Trello that looks a lot like sticky notes. And you can create different boards where you like drag stuff that's like, I'm working on this. This is next up, and this is completed, or however you have it organized. Trello is one that looks a lot like Post-it notes and is very collaborative in nature. I use a project management software called Asana. I know there's ones like Monday.com, Airtable. There's a lot of different softwares out there. I just say find whichever one you're most comfortable with. They're all going to have a couple different variations on what they look like or tools and stuff. But just use the one that you think looks prettiest. Who cares? As long as it's functional.
That's the thing, man. I was out with all those tools. I've learned like whichever one you'll actually use is the best one you can use. Mm-hmm. Because like if you get the one that has all the best features and it overwhelms you and you don't actually want to use it, it's not the good one for you. Like it's useless, right? But if you get the simple one, you're like, oh, I can actually use this, and it's free, and I don't have to pay for it. It doesn't stress me out. Use it, right? Dive in.
Use the free ones as long as you can. That's why I like Slack or Trello, Asana. You can use free versions as long as you need to until you just actually run out of space.
Yeah. Hey, Michael, thank you for jumping on with us today. You officially have the record by like 8 minutes of longest one of these, but I think we planned on this one being a little longer just because it's such a critical and interesting topic. And I think a question that everyone is asking is like, how do I work well in this moment? Do you have like a parting shot or just like an idea or encouragement you want to share with the community?
I have told, and I started doing this because I do volunteer with the International Justice Mission, and they talked about doing this with their team. But I encourage everyone on my team to take some time in the morning before they're about to step on and do work. Take a little Selah or a little rest and focus. Listen to a worship song, do devotions, whatever. If you don't normally do that, but get in and get focused. And if you can place your attention on God and where He wants you to focus your time, I think you're going to be much better off than if you go in thinking, I've got this agenda and I'm going to do these things. But really get focused in the morning, get your priorities straight, do that, and then see what happens.
That is a good word, my friend. Michael, thank you for joining us. And man, I just look forward to the time when we can finally get together again, hang out, and get face to face. I appreciate you, bud.
Thanks, man, for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, Michael. Hey, guys. So thank you for jumping on here today. This is like our 5th or 6th one of these. We're doing them every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. We're doing a cool thing in the month of April here. Every Wednesday, this chat is reserved for one of the folks in our high-tech accelerator. We have 5 companies that are currently in our high-tech accelerator program. They are gearing up for a big demo day event on May 7th, and we're going to be chatting with one of those founders over the next few weeks. So on this Wednesday, we're going to talk to Jim Hewitt from a company called Romina. Can't wait for you guys to meet Jim. You're going to enjoy that conversation and just getting to meet some of the folks from the accelerator. Hey, we'll see you back on Wednesday at 3 p.m. and again on Friday, and then we'll see you next week as well. thank you for jumping in. Share this, like it. I feel like I'm like a YouTuber now. Pound the like button. Let's get a share out there. I don't know why people do that, but I guess that's what you're supposed to say. Thanks. See you guys soon. Bye.